Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Jack Graham with, believe it or not, number 20, video number 20. Thank you all for taking some time out of your day to be here. It's been a while. Been doing a little traveling. Have a fair amount coming up. A couple special things on this video. I'm going to talk about two new recordings that have arrived. And then I had a couple requests to do a little tour of the room. We'll leave that till the end. It's not very long, not a very big room, but that seems to be something that I got a number of questions about. So we'll try to put that in here as well. Again, thank you all for being here. If you like what you hear, what have you, you can hit that like button. The thumbs up deal, and subscribe and do all the stuff that we all ask you to do for various reasons. But again, thank you for taking some time to be here. Two new records came in this week. One is in the background here, Unity, Larry Young. This is a reissue on the Blue Note Classic series, 180 gram vinyl, of course, with Kevin Gray doing the mastering. What a great recording. I had, up until about a year ago, I had the CD of this, and then the Music Matters 45 RPM version came out, and I had to have it. So, I bought that one, and now this recording just came out. This is a 33 and a third on 180 gram vinyl. Under $30, and what a value. What a great record. Recorded in 1965, I believe, in November, with Larry Young on organ, the great Woody Shaw on trumpet, Joe Henderson. I think this is one of Joe Henderson's greatest records. He's done some great things under his own name, but as a sideman, he played great on this. This group was really just so together during this record day. Larry Young on organ, of course, and Elvin Jones on drums. Man, Elvin plays. This whole band is just an amazing thing. I think that's the second Larry Young record on Blue Note. Larry was born on my birthday on October 7th. Unfortunately, he passed at a very young age. I think he was about 36 or 37, and succumbed to some physical things, and just died too young because he was a real pioneer. Prior to Blue Note, he recorded some things on Prestige, and was really a Jimmy Smith disciple, but then really grew and really changed the sound of organ. I hear a lot of Larry Young's playing in Joey DeFrancesco in the last few years. I hear a lot of that modal just style that Larry Young moved into in the late 60s, which was quite advanced for the time. There's a couple tunes on here that, though they have heads on them, after that they really move into a lot of modal playing. At the time, this was a pretty advanced record. I'm not sure this is a record for the folks that are just new to jazz. It's a great record, and it's worth listening to if you're really new to jazz. But I think you need to. You might get a little blown away with this. Some of the tunes on here are pretty outside. Zoltan is the first tune. Larry Young studied with a pianist teacher. I believe he was from Newark, New Jersey, and she was Hungarian and was exposed to Kodály and some of the Hungarian players. And this tune, though, written by Woody Shaw, was a copy of Kodály's Harry Janos Suite, the March on the Janos Suite, and then Monk's Dream, Thelonious Monk tune, If, a Joe Henderson original, and then Moon Train, the great Woody Shaw tune, Moon Train, is on this. Softly as the Morning Sunrise. Man, I tell you, Joe Henderson plays so great on that too. And what's in the background here, Beyond All Limits, again, it's got a head, but then it gets into a lot of modal playing on, written by Woody Shaw. You know, it's really funny. I hear a lot of McCoy Tyner, and who's a pianist with Coltrane, of course. You remember him with that band with Elvin. I hear a lot of his playing in Larry Young. I hear a lot of, and he even said himself that he was so influenced by Coltrane's playing, he incorporated that into his playing. But again, this is pretty advanced for the time, for 1965. There's a story that this band was playing in Lafayette Park outside the White House, and it was so loud that Nixon heard the band that they went down and stopped the band from playing because Nixon, I think, made a comment that this strange music was going to levitate the White House. Of course, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's way ahead of its time, but musically, just amazing. Larry Young recorded with a lot of people outside of, you know, what you'd think. He recorded with Jimi Hendrix. He recorded with Uncle John McLaughlin. He actually recorded with Santana, and you know, I mean, just a lot of rock players. He was on Bitches Brew with Miles. So, I mean, he was really ahead of his time, and I think changed the sound of the organ and the way the organ was played. But what a great record! Extremely clean vinyl. Michael Ludwig's 45 RPM audiophile did a great talk about this record, as has a couple other people. I just want to give you a little insight into the musicality of what was going on here, not just the packaging and how clean the vinyl is. This was done by Kevin Gray, Coherent, and in the original classic vinyl series. Just a really good value. You can pick this up right now. I'm sure they're still in the stores for under $30. And you know, I think the music matters. I'm not sure if you can find it anymore. I think used they're quite expensive. So the difference between this and Music Matters, believe it or not, I don't hear that much difference. There's maybe a little more pop, a little more brightness, a little more. They might be a little better on 45, but believe it or not, I don't hear that much difference on this. Now, you know, I'm not listening on the grade of equipment that Michael is and some of the other people are. I have good equipment. It's not, you know, it's not a $50,000 audio system. Not using a tube amplifier, maybe someday. But from what I hear, I don't hear that much difference between this and the 45. 45 is collectible if you're into that, but for the money, you can't go wrong with this. Great jacket, you know, and nice clean vinyl, you know, on the original looking Blue Note label. Nice heavy record. Unity, Larry Young. If you don't have this in your library and you're a jazz aficionado, you need to hear this and you need to have it. It's a classic. The other new record that came out that got shipped this week, that has been talked about a little bit, is another issue of Oscar Peterson's We Get Requests. Very different record from the Unity record. Of course, you know, Oscar is a much different player than Larry Young is on organ. Totally different stuff. But you know, it's a collection of tunes that Oscar said that were requested many times. It's not a live recording. It's done in the studio. But you know, they're all standard tunes: Quiet Nights, Wine and Roses, One Only Love, People Have You Met Miss Jones. Oscar plays really he almost plays the shout chorus that I think Basie used on Have You Met Miss Jones, but very, very, very soft. And It's just it's a great recording. Um, this again is the 33 and a third recording, and this was done at Acoustic Sounds, and as usual, it's impeccable. Um, you know the original reissue of this that was everybody bought was a 45, which I also have, and I did compare the two. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Ryan Smith did the mix on this. I believe George Marino at Sterling. Of course, Ryan Smith is at Sterling now, but George Marino, the late George Marino, did the mastering on the 45 RPM. And in this, the 45 does, I think, sound better. The brushes are much more apparent. The bass is stronger, and it's maybe a little bit cleaner. But this is awfully good. I mean, it's not that much difference. I believe this you can buy at Acoustic Sounds or in Groove or anywhere right now that they have stock on this. It's probably a $35 to $40 recording, but it's just superb. It's the Verve 8606, again recorded back in 1965 with Oscar and Ed Thigpen and Ray Brown. And Ray Brown's playing. If you listen to this playing, he's playing melodies in back of Oscar's playing, and you really can hear this. I've got the original Verve record of this too, and I will tell you that some of these originals are damn good if you get a good copy, and I have a pretty good copy. It's not great. It's probably a very good, or maybe a very good plus, but certainly a very good copy. But boy, these reissues are just a lot better. I mean, come on, you can't really get into that. But we get requests. Again, the 45 I think is a little bit better on this one than the 33. But the Unity is just such a value on the original Blue Note Classic. I don't think it's probably worth paying what people are asking for the Music Matters right now. And to hear, that band together, Larry Young and Woody Shaw, and Woody was a very, very underrated trumpet player. I mean, a lot of people don't know he worked. I think he was on the Cape Verdean Blues album with Horace Silver. He really changed the way harmonics was played. He took Freddie to the next step. And even his Columbia records in the '80s, Rosewood. I can't remember the names of the others, but they're just really great recordings. And unfortunately, Woody Shaw, died I think in his mid-40s. He got hit by a subway train, and that amputated his arm, and then he got pneumonia or whatever, and passed away way too young. It's such a shame. But Unity is a great record, and this is a totally different record. This is for everybody. If you're new into jazz, pick this up, man. It's an amazing record. One thing I want to close with, a gentleman named Mike Lang died, I think probably about a month ago. Mike Lang was a pianist in Los Angeles, part of what they called the, he was in over 1,000 Hollywood movie sets. He was part of the Wrecking Crew, which is a bunch of LA studio guys and jazz players that were hired by a lot of the rock bands and a lot of the top 40 recording artists that made them sound pretty damn good. And Mike Lang was just a great player. He's on this, and when I heard he died, I was digging through some things that I had that he played on, and I dug out this CD. This has not been released on vinyl. It's called West Coast All-Stars Play Bill Holman. Great arranger, Bill Holman. Vic Lewis had something to do with this. Vic Lewis was a band leader from a Brit that moved to America. That he and Bill Holman became real good friends. And there's some great players on here. Trumpets, Connie Condoli, Jack Sheldon, my friend, my friend, I wish, the late Jack Sheldon, my favorite trumpet player. Bob McConnell on trombone, Bud Shank, Bob Cooper, Bill Perkins on reeds. I mean, you get better than that. And of course, on some cuts, there's Mike Lang on piano, Alan Broadbent on some other cuts, and on bass and drums, Jeff Hamilton and John Clayton. My college acquaintances in the music school in Indiana when I was there. It was great knowing those guys. One interesting thing is one tune on here that Dudley Moore, the actor, Dudley Moore, a little short guy, he plays piano. He plays really good. I think he was a jazz pianist and a singer. I think before he was an actor. And Lenny Niehaus is on here, Lenny Morgan's on here, on a couple cuts. But this is a great CD, and you can find this on Discogs. I'm not sure if you can find it new anymore. It's not expensive. You can buy a good used copy of this for probably $10. And it's just recorded well. It's on the Candid label. It's just super. Check out Mike Lang. If you just search YouTube and put in Mike Lang, and you'll hear him play, and you'll see some of the things he did. What a great player. We're losing a lot of great players these days. Well, anyhow, thank you all for being here. Again, if you like what you heard, hit the like and subscribe and all that stuff. I have some things I want to talk about on the next video. Some other new things that have come in. But until then, thank you all again, and pick up Unity. It's an amazing record. Talk to you soon. So I got a few requests from some folks to do a short little room tour. I'm not going to get too complicated here, but just take you around. This room's about 13 or 14 feet by 13 or 14 feet. Not a big room. It's carpeted, and the acoustics in here for the size are pretty good. I'm a professional photographer by trade, doing that over about 30 years now. And so you see a lot of trinkets and stuff that have to do with photography, a lot of books. But bookcase number 1 here, again, a bunch of vinyl. This is my A through Z vinyl. Top shelf and second shelf down here. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to get put up here and organized a little bit. You'll see in a minute. There's some components. There's a DVD player here. That silver piece here is an internet radio. In fact, that's what's playing here now. It gets wired into the auxiliary input in my preamp, and actually sounds really good. There's some really good HD stations from all over the world on here. Temperature, humidity, reading. Some DVDs over in here. Again, I think this probably goes J through Z, maybe, something like that, down the end here. I keep most of the records I listen to in this room here. There's some CDs over here. Yeah, I do listen to CDs. There's a lot of stuff on CD here that maybe hasn't been put out on vinyl or I can't find. And, you know, I like to listen to the music. I mean, I love vinyl, but sometimes we resort to CDs, and it actually gets sometimes hard to listen to them after listening to some of the things on vinyl. But be that as it may, the music is primary to me, and that's what happens. And then, you know, of course, as we move around here, you'll see the old Kef subwoofer and the gear. Another bookcase in here. Bunch of really great photography books. I'll try to be as steady as I can with this camera. Photography books, and then up here a lot of jazz information and biographies, and some classical stuff. Vaughan Williams, my harmony books from college, all the way to Miles. So there's a lot of things. I'm going to do a whole video on books that are really good to read. I like to know what I'm listening to, and I usually pick up a lot of stuff that I don't know by reading as I listen to the music. A beautiful, beautiful little record rack that one of my photographic clients made for me, who lives up in Nanaimo, Canada. Rick, thank you so much. Really well constructed. It's a LED light in it. Really good work, you know. I mean, really first class work. And I keep some stuff in here, getting ready for the podcast and just stuff. And down in here, we've got a bunch of CD box sets. I'm going to do a whole thing. I know Mazzy did some things on here. In fact, there's a couple things here that he talked about. This Plug Nickel Miles Davis is right there. That's a really great box set of the Plug Nickel recordings. Swinging over again, some more vinyl. It's old Tower Records signed from back in the day. There's a bunch of Tone Poets up here, some stuff that I need to get filed. There's some contemporaries in here. There's some OJCs, and then some classical recordings. I'll tell you, some of these old Columbias and Decas and RCA Red Seals, EMIs, boy, they still sound great when they're in good shape. It's more classical stuff. And then some supplies. You'll see some camera bigs. Room's kind of messy right now, but you'll get the idea. And there's where I listen. Keyboard. And again, we have some more CDs over here. These are classical CDs. And a few jazz things mixed in up here that I need to listen to. DVDs, some great jazz DVDs in here. Just some really good stuff that live recordings and live videos and stuff. So that's really about it. It's nothing exorbitant, but we keep the stuff that I listen to a lot in this room, and this is where I spend my evenings.